Welcome all, welcome all to the greenhouse of mirrors. Since we are invoking that energy, that power, thought I put that green on. Green's a good color for abundance and prosperity. So we're gonna bring a lot to the light from that beautiful darkness because we have to understand that the dark is the true light. Give it a little bit. As you come in, I think I left a comment up there. Drop a share. Get some of that power going. The greenhouse of mirrors. The space in which we dwell in that nurtures us, which is actually only nurturing our fear. This realm, this illusion is only meant for one purpose, and that's for us to learn. That's all it's for us to learn. As I reach behind, I feel like being a little studious. 1 second. That was kind of cool. Because there's a laptop right there. I feel like being rather studious, hidden in plain sight. Yeah, but we're gonna get into the definitions and the meanings behind the meanings and the things we need to be working on at this time to get us to where we need to be at. Because for a lot of us, we understand, we have the knowledge, but we don't have we're not applying it. And the one for some of us, we're not applying it in the way we're applying it in ways that is mundane to the power. It's like we're still learning. We're still trying to gain that confidence. And at this point in time, what are you waiting to be confident for? Really? Like, where's your confidence at? Your confidence level, your mindset. And when you're actually doing your shadow work, if you're doing your shadow work, you understand every level creates a new devil. It creates a new set of demons. It creates a new set of things that you have to learn, that you have to study. So the basis to it is it's an ongoing process. A lot of us get stuck in it, like similar to like being in school, going to college, some type of certification. We do that part and then we're like, okay, cool. I've done everything I needed to do. Now, what's my next thing? I don't have to do anything else. I'm getting exactly what I want from this. What you're doing is you're creating that's how you create that siphoning. A lot of us get stuck in this thought process, such as some people that go as far back as the comedic science, and then they'll stop in the comedic science. They'll try to tie everything to the comedic science. Some people that get into more science, and then they'll take that, and then they'll do everything that's going with more science, and they try to tie everything to more science, instead of allowing themselves to be taken higher, literally allowing the knowledge to possess them to go higher, allowing themselves to submit to the attributes of the next level to become the ideal student. Our thought process is to become the ideal student. That's how you become the ideal teacher. A lot of us get stuck on the title. A lot of us get stuck on the titles. So we'll find our name. Cool, you find your name. Find your name. You start living by your name. You start living by that thought process. But then the moment that you contain or you add a name to something, the moment that you put a name to something, it's locked. It loses its energy. Similar to the entire Jesus narrative. The entire Jesus narrative, they gave it an image, they gave it a face. So it took away from the power. It took away from the power. It took away from you studying anything that went with that. And what happens with a lot of us, we'll get into this thought process of, I'm not going to go read this book because it's written by some white man, or it's not written somebody that has nothing to do with us. Their job, they're custodians. They're the easiest to control. They're the easiest to move in that right. So by giving them intellectual notes, giving them this, all they can understand is from the intellectual standpoint. And they can go on for years and years and years and spit that shit out for years and years and years, write millions and millions of books. That's basically all they can do with that's all they can do with our science. That's all they can do with our science is write books on it, get little to no power out of it, learn how to do some type of transfer of energy, learn how to do some little minutes of sacrifice, put themselves in this thought process where that's all they're getting out of it. That's based on because they were made of this realm. Everything in this realm, this is a realm of addiction. So when they look at things, and there's people in your life that look at things in the aspect of this is the realm of something or other. So think about you as you came into your realization of yourself. Think about the things that you once you were clinging to that you no longer really cling to. Think about the sense of feeling and clarity you now have in yourself now that you've gotten to a certain point. Now you're getting complacent. You're comfortable. You're comfortable being Set Fatah Ra or Sekhmet El Bey. You're comfortable in these things, and that's where you're still being siphoned from because you've allowed yourself to stay still. Energy still moves. Everything still vibrates. Remember, first law of the universe is vibration. Everything still vibrates. But if you're sitting still, you're still vibrating. So that energy needs to go somewhere. So in this realm, since it's a realm of addiction, something is constantly siphoning it from you. Something is going to challenge you. The universe itself is going to challenge you to step out of that box, step out of that space. You should not be comfortable. You should not be comfortable in the aspect of I've been moving in this space. I've been moving in the same circle and I've seen kind of safe. It's not about being safe because now you feel safe. Now turn on the TV, someone else got shot. They'll just find a new way to manipulate the things around you because they're a part of this realm. Remember, we should be stepping out of the thought process. We're not of this space. We're not a part of this space, but we are of this space. Our energy, everything of us created this space. We are the chaos that created it. We are of the chaos energy that created this space. When you look at the story of the Titans and how the Titans were crumbled, the Titans were dispersed into this realm. they're speaking about us. All of these things are speaking about us on those levels. We get stuck on the minute you read one, because this is how it works. All knowledge is in fragments. So I put you in you're in that greenhouse. I give you mirrors. Now the mirrors are around you. Everything's reflecting things that look like you based on ego. So if it's not black, I don't want to deal with it. You have to break that psychological programming. You're not a color. You're higher than that. Every time they show Black Lives Matter, and then you rally up Black Lives Matter, you're still showing they still have hooks in you. Because they still can say something like Black Lives don't matter, Blue Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, whatever other life matters, and then you'll still get yourself to that point. Like, no. What does it matter to you? Because you're working on the end game. You're getting into the end game. I'm not concentrating on another protest or thinking about the NFL. I'm not thinking about the NFL halftime show and what Jay-Z said about the NFL halftime show. I'm not thinking about that. That's not my cup of tea. That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of the higher level. He said, I'm thinking of the higher level. I'm thinking of the greater good on the greater thought process. I'm thinking of my mindset becoming more omnipresent because I am a God. I am a titan. I am an occultist. So I have to study. I have to study more. I have to research more. I have to study more. Everything that I study, I'm able to apply faster. These are the thought processes that we have to start cultivating within us. That kills your ego, that expands your subconscious, that puts those dreams into more perspective. You start from having visions and having dreams in order to control your space. That way these things don't get to you. What we're going through now is in your mind, still set in your subconscious, are the intentions and the attention and the acceptance and the belief of things instead of you going through the knowing process. We have to get into our knowing. There's no longer this, I believe this and I believe this. I know what I do works. I know. We have to set our mindsets to change the frequency. Our frequency, our whole mindset has to change. A lot of people, even in the conscious community, I don't even like saying that because that encapsulates you into something. I'm in a whole nother space. I'm in a whole nother realm. I'm projecting myself into these places. I'm projecting myself as I move around in this space, in this body. You have to let go of the thought process that I'm doing what I need to do and what I have to do to take myself to the next level. Think about the negative and the positive. You're setting the cause, and then you're waiting for the effect. These are the thought processes that we have to set our minds in. We're getting stuck in the thought process of we need money for this. We need currency for this. We need a leader. You cannot in one breath say you're a god, a goddess, dark side, whatever, light worker, whatever you have come into, and on the other side say you need a leader. Because it doesn't add up. Things aren't lining up for a lot of people. Things aren't shifting the way they need to shift because your mindset is still stuck in your old self. what are you really sacrificing? I said this earlier today. What are you really sacrificing? All you're simply doing is transferring energy from one space to another. A lot of people are transferring their belief system of Christ or Allah or Buddha, and Buddha wasn't even a god, and noted he wasn't even a god. We'll get into that's a whole other conversation. But you're just transferring your energy from one set of beliefs into another set of things that you should be researching and studying, and then you're getting the same result. You just replace Jesus with Ra, you just replace the angels with the ancestors, and so on and so forth. You are the energy. You are the primal energy. That's what we are. You have to start moving in that light. You have to start learning to move in that light, or move in that dark, rather, to control the angles of light. You control the reflections of what comes around you. You control everything that comes around you. Everything based on your thought process. I'll give you a thought. If I walked outside right now and said it was raining, damn, I cannot go to the store. It's raining. That means it's going to rain harder. That means I set the tone like, okay, in this rain, I'm not going to go anywhere. But if I go outside and say, oh, it's raining. Oh, it's not raining that hard. That's the beginning step. Oh, it's not raining that hard. I'm going to grab my umbrella. Then I walk to the store. Somebody else will stop and like, man, you were walking in the rain? Man, you were walking in the rain? You walk somewhere? Man, I can't be doing all that walking, man. That's tiring, man. I get all sweaty and hot. People will always put their perception of how they reflect their life onto you. If you don't have a control or a thought process, I hate when the music stops. It was so beautiful, and it just stopped. Taking the thought process into where our mental scape is. So you'll sit there and you'll take yourself into the thought process of, I want to be better. You should desire to be better. And everything that comes into when you speak that cause out, now here comes the effect. The effect that comes, this is what we're going to break down karma. Karma is the exact reflection of what is needed in order to step to the next level. Just go to the next step. Cause and effect. The sixth law of the universe. Cause and effect. That's all karma is. If you cause something, there will be an effect. Whether it's on a positive, on a negative side of that spectrum of that polarity, that's how that thing happens. You have to get out of the mindset of good and bad. It's positive and negative. Because good and bad means legal and illegal. These are trigger words. They'll say, you're breaking the law. It's illegal. But then you got to remember, slavery was legal. This is how that works. Slavery was legal. So as long as they can dictate what's legal and what's illegal, what's good and what's bad, they can use the law against. They use the laws of this realm to cultivate what they do. That's how that works. That's how it works in this. You'll go into a space thinking that you're going to get justice. You're getting justice in a system that was never even designed for you. So why are you still fighting why are you still fighting to reform a system that wasn't even meant for you? You can't reform something that wasn't even. The only time you reform something or you revise something is when it's not suitable for the citizens or the civilians of that realm. That's the only time that you actually do that. So if you're not of this realm, You're not of this world. You're in an extraterrestrial space. We're not of this realm. Why are you still trying to fight for this space? Why are you still trying to fight for liberties, rights, laws, and these things in this space that aren't even, the space isn't even meant for you? You're just entertaining your own suffering. And in that, and you got to think about it, this psychologically breaks people down a lot. So then you take yourself into that thought process. Think about the relationships that you have been in, whether friendships, business relationships, love interests, all these different relationships that you built on. Think about how your relationships are built on. Are your relationships built on, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or your relationships actually built on someone actually giving you the realest shit that you need to fucking hear? The realer you are with yourself, the reflection comes to you, is the realest the people that be around you that actually speak to you. When you get to a higher frequency on a higher level, these people have seen a certain level of things. That's not applying that knowledge. I can sit here and read. I can sit here, open up a book all day and read to you all day. But that work's already been laid out. This is the level where we're supposed to be applying our knowledge. Everything that we learn, we apply. As you learn, as you apply the knowledge, because knowledge is empower, it's the applying of it. My man Timothy wrote that out, wrote that down. We had a conversation earlier today. It's not the knowledge is power. They still got you stuck on knowledge is power. They still got you stuck on knowledge is power. The knowledge isn't the power, it's applying the knowledge that is power. Exactly, wisdom. Wisdom when you look at the aspect, as we need to start tuning into, as we are shifting, our mindsets have to shift from the patriarchal society that we are. This realm is patriarchal. It's physical. That's why they can do things like porn all the damn time, and people like porn and the way they use sex and the way they over-sexualize everything. That's all of the not having the knowledge of something to an aspect that's okay, cool. I got the knowledge of this or something or other, and they use that knowledge to encapsulate or capture you. The feminine aspect, which is that you call it Kundalini energy, you can call it, we'll use Kundalini energy for now. That energy in that retrospect, that's the energy that is rising. And when you see it in, everything starts in the spiritual realm in those spiritual realms. So I said it a while back. Someone put a post up talking about women are actually coming into the consciousness faster. And they're leaving the church and they're taking themselves into, I'm looking at music as I'm speaking to you guys. Instant. Ooh, let's do this one. I like that one. That looks pretty cool. Okay. But you take yourselves into that thought process. We have to take ourselves, that energy, we must allow that energy to rise. And they've done so many things outside of you to distract you from it, from the feminist movement to the lesbian movement to all of these different movements, to have a person thinking that they are better than the other half of them. So if I think that I'm better than women in that aspect, then I shut off my ability to learn the feminine aspect, the feminine energy that resides within me. I only can learn that by applying it to interacting with my other half. That's the only way that works. I have to apply that to the other half in the context of a woman only knows how to be a woman. But you have to understand that in it's deeper, because a lot of us are stuck in the thought process from traumas, and it might be a trauma that's just a carry on. That's what it's so important to break the generation. You're breaking generational curses, and you're getting yourself in sync. The more you sink yourself, the more you heal yourself, the more you sink yourself. The more you get those synchronicities or syncopes into yourself, and the more that you are gravitating, the harder that it becomes for you in that aspect. The weight becomes harder on you because you're taking yourself to the next level. You have to be strong enough to go to the next level. That's why the things that you are going through, all of those traumas, you have to re-trigger. You have the only difference between outward trauma, your trauma being triggered outward as opposed to being triggered inward, is when you're triggering it, you've set yourself in control that you are the conduit force of the energy. Rather than sitting there with your thought process and the thought process, I don't want to go through it again. When you go through it by your own admission, by going through it, you're going through it for the first time. Because the first time you went through it, you were receiving it. The first time that you went through the trauma, you were receiving the said trauma. The thing happened to you. You were the victim of the trauma. The fact that you are taking the trauma into your own control, you're taking the power back. That's how you empower yourself. That's how you invoke and unlock the energy within yourself. And that's when you get into the study, whether it's whether it's any text, you can just read, you can go through the encyclopedia of deities. An encyclopedia of deities, the 72 Goetias, reading these books, now it resonates more with you because you're understanding the aspects of yourself. That's why whenever I tell a lot of people, is like the first thing you should read into is like, we already understand that when they broke down the entire Jesus of Nazareth story, and I made that item out a couple of days ago, is basically about astrology. So as you understand, you are the Christ energy, you are the Christ, the KRST, that is you when you're in your God, when you're at that God level. When you hit that space in yourself, your mindset, you're not just one zodiac. You're not just one zodiac. The zodiac that you were born under, that's your chief zodiac. That's your chief house. That's where you started. But in order to understand, even to the aspect of understanding your zodiac more, you have to understand that you're all the zodiacs. You have to break the compartmentalization of your life. A lot of us compartmentalize our lives in this aspect of I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, or I'm this. I'm none of it, but I'm all of it. That's the thought process you gotta put yourself in. You're not any of it, you're all of it. That's how you get into the aspect of invoking the power. I broke down, it's like the breakdown of it is, you're still like, if someone tells you something like possession, you don't have an aspect of what possession is. Possession is the next level up from submission. Because as I break down submission, submission is the act of becoming the attributes of the ideal source of energy or entity that you would tend to defeat, which basically defeat, it means to conquer, and what to come by. Satan get behind me, basically. Whenever you heard that, Satan get behind me, that's the thought process. So you should be submitting, when you do your shadow work, you're submitting to the ideal, you're submitting to the attributes of the ideal of your shadow. That way you learn the negative to come into the positive. That's the possession. So when I became Lucifer, I studied the negative anatomes that were spoken about this energy that made it human, because the negative things just make it human. The positive things take it to a whole nother level. So I have to understand the human side of what was presented in front of me until I became into the positive side, not the bad. Because if you think about it as good and bad, you're not going to want to look at it. Your mind, your ego is automatically going to protect you from anything that's bad. So you take your ego like, this is negative, but I still need to take this information in so I can better protect myself. So you submit it to the ideal attributes of what your ego was. In that same aspect, once you learn how to do that to yourself, you learn how to do that to the energy that you need to encompass. A lot of people talk about doing all this energy work, and this energy is so prevalent, and you need to tap into the energy. You need to do this with the energy. You need to tap into the God here, this God of this realm. It's all fucking energy. You are the chaos energy. Your energy is the energy and where it came from. You're at the top. You came from the top. You're learning these things to take yourself back to where you came from, where you began. And then you're learning it again. Every pantheon. That's why there's so many different pantheons, whether it's the Shiras or the Congo rites, or you look at the Gnostic texts, the Gnostic scriptures, the Hermetica. You look at all these texts are talking about you. The fragments that you're missing, they're in the books that are written by the white people. The white man wrote that book. The same way that you studied and got your information from Dr. Ben, Bobby Hemmett, when he put out massive scholarship, every time he did a lecture, he gave out massive scholarship. He gave out massive book lists. In the next couple, I'm gonna start putting out the massive book list. We're gonna start building on that level when we start doing the live discussion boards. Putting yourself in that thought process of encompassing the energy that you are, encompassing the greatness, truly embracing the greatness that you are. Because what we're getting stuck on is right now, we get stuck on, I'm embracing the energy that my ancestors are. But you still take yourself out of the negatives and the positives. The more you're sitting there breaking the transgenerational curses, the more you'll understand why your grandmother did what she did. The more you'll understand why your mother did what she did. The more you understand why your father, your uncle, your aunt, why they did what they did based on the knowledge and based on the traumas that they were a part of. These are the conversations that we need to start having, because we're not having these conversations. We're just passing the buck. We pass that shit along. You send that to somebody else. Somebody's like, damn, that did fucking happen. I'm not dealing with that because it's not happening to me. What you don't understand is bound to repeat itself, whether it's positive or negative. What you don't understand is bound to repeat itself. That same image reflection that you hated looking at when you were little, that happened to you when you were younger, guess what? It's going to repeat itself in the same scape of time, if not shorter. And when you look into the mirror and you start seeing that person, because that's the person that you're connected to. That's that human part of you. You're holding on to these burdens into your heart, and that's why your heart chakra ain't right. That's why you can't tap in and achieve the things that you want to achieve. I went through an entire process similar. I went through an entire process when I was coming into my consciousness. And I remember one of the biggest things for me was I was so used to, I just repaired my ego at that point in time. I just repaired the relationship with my mother in an aspect that we were having conversations. But every time I repaired the relationship with my mother, it led to the same line of events. Eventually, she started asking me for money. Eventually, she started asking me for stuff, or she needs something from me or something or other. Eventually, it would just come right back to that same thing until I started realizing I was simply listening long enough to reply. Because the reflection was she was listening long enough to reply. And she was replying in ways that that had my ego feeling like, okay, cool, everything's back on the same page. Because I was stuck on that sentimental value of this is my mother, I should love her unconditionally, which that doesn't change. I have love for everybody that I've come in contact with. I have love for them unconditionally, but I won't be there because I have to understand I can't be there, but somebody else might need that learning experience. Somebody else needs that experience, not me. I've learned from that experience. We have to put ourselves in a mindset, you've learned from that experience. Now walk away. We get stuck in this mundane fashion of memories. We get stuck in a mundane fashion of memories. But I remember when we used to do this all the time. Girl, I remember when we used to go out every weekend. Man, I remember we used to go out every weekend, kid. Like, we put these thought processes in our mind and we encapsulate and lock these thought processes in our mind, and that's what keeps you where you at. When you looking at it from the outside, you realize how detrimental and how dangerous some of the environments you were in. When you take yourself from that where you were sitting at in that space, where you were sitting in it, when you step out of it, you realize how much time you lost, how much money you lost. This is on that basic human breaking principle. You realize how much stuff you were losing. And when you start realizing how much money you were losing, then you understand money is currency. Then you understand the code definition for money. The code definition for what money is, which I haven't saved. You know, do the definition right now. The code definition for money, and that breaks down into money. You have to take yourself out of encapsulating these things and locking these things into one or the other. It's everything is everything. So the same way you pay attention to something, that's you giving away your attention, or you're setting your intentions based on your attention. So you're giving your currency. So you're giving your currency away. So you're giving your currency away, or your energy away, in order to stay where you at. You're using the debt in that aspect. You're using your debt that you feel you're indebted to somebody because they did something for you. You're using that debt to pay for you to be okay. But the psychological meaning behind money, in between energy and currency, the word currency also sounds similar to the word currency in Chinese. The word chi means natural energy, life force, energy flow, soul, melanin, all those carbon, those things. Based on these definitions, currency means the flow of energy. When you really think about it, currency is a medium for exchanging energy. That goes into the thing that I always break down. You're sacred, you're divine, you're grand, you're a titan. Every energy exchange is a sacred energy exchange. It's just not physical. We have been taught to this mundane of this, the physical act of sexual intercourse, sticking something into something else. That thought process in our mind of just sticking something in something else to procreate, and like it's been boiled down to, they tell you that procreation was just creating a child. Even if you create a child, that child based upon the markers of how that child was born, they encompass the energy. They are now the conduit force of the energy based on what was created. So if you created a child out of love, that child is the nurturing of love, of pure love. But if you brought if someone gets into a relationship and they have a child and they think that's going to save they're trying to save their relationship, this child is now separated from truth of finding itself. And now you're just giving that child the trauma. And now that child will have to deal with that trauma until they can go back and realize what that trauma was. That's why they make something so mundane. They show you porn and you look at something so mundane as porn. In the aspect, if you don't understand it and you're living your life based on porn, that's what you think love is. Then you hear a song that comes out now that's on a lower vibration because it's not recorded on records anymore, so it doesn't have that same energy. So it's giving you another angle of light in order to be fed from, to be lusted on. So what you're thinking is love is actually lust. That's the psychological breakdown. In the legal term, when someone gets beaten up, that person's referred to as the victim of battery. If the victim presses charges, the person who committed the battery will be summoned to a court to face the charges. The word battery is an important word in Commerce and Law because it has to do with the process of harnessing the energy of humanity. Everything that they use against you at this point in time is triggering you for humanity. That's why they give you something like morals. They give you something like the code of ethics. Ever since, like, whenever you came into a certain thought process, motherfucker, like, this motherfucker's trying to play God. Whether it came from in vitro, and then they give you that, get them like people that can't have kids, and it's in vitro and cloning and all these other shits. They're bending ethics. They created the rules. So, of course, they're always going to work in their favor. So if you're sitting here and you wanting to literally, they got to change the laws. Why? The laws aren't meant for you. If anything, you should be using, as you're gaining your intelligence and your speed, and since you can come from a different level, use it against them. They can't beat you. Remember, they take the thought process, you can't beat the devil. They can't beat you. The highest honor that they can do, that's the highest honor to you, is actually releasing you from your physical body. That's what death is. Releasing the energy from the conduit that it's in. Once you're released from this, you're free to go to the next level. But you can get stuck in limbo if you didn't put in the work learning. So you'll go right back to the light, and then you'll come into another suit. And then you got to go through the whole process all over again. You're going to forget more than you ever remember because you didn't catch on. You see how that works? That's that transfer of energy because you're not sacrificing anything. All they're doing is transferring the energy. All they're doing is paying off a debt. When you start looking at the Anunnaki text, you start looking at the Akron text, you start looking at all these texts talking about these psychic, all these different deities and entities that were meant to siphon energy. That's the ones that control everything because they're easily controlled. You have to understand these white people, they're easily controlled. They learn something, they apply it, they have a conversation about it, they live it over and over and over again based on what they're used to. Someone can come into your life, and then what's become so as you're stepping into your higher self, only from the higher realm can I say the shit that I say. Because I have a deeper understanding to it. Only from the higher realm can I go outside and I can be standing in the line at a smoke shop somewhere and I can see two black women arguing over cutting in line to put their numbers in. This actually happened a while back. Putting their numbers in, and that's what their life is regretted to. Is arguing over who putting their numbers in for a game of chance. Because they feel if they didn't put it in at this time, at this space, and at this time, at this exact moment, that's how they're going to lose. Because that's what they believe. But you need to have an understanding, the higher, even understanding that in the higher realm of numbers, understanding numerology and the probabilities. The key of this whole game is to see both sides of the coin. The man with one eye is king. A man in the land of the blind with one eye, he's king. But that complacency that happens in our mindsets, we get in this complacent mindset that we're actually nurturing something, we're actually changing something. All you're doing is creating another feeding source. A lot of these people, agents, whatever you want to call them, whether knowing or unknowing, they're just creating another feeding source. They're creating another space to herd you into to easily be picked apart. So why would you want to be a part of anything? So the thought process, they're pushing unity. They push unity. Even when I look at somebody like, I saw a meme a while back, and it was like they had Django and Mr. Candy. He was like, y'all are good as long as y'all protesting, but the moment that y'all unify, that's when we'll have a problem. Here's the thing. We can use that to our advantage. I don't feel like unifying with anybody in the physical sense. I don't feel like flying under one banner, one color, one set of ideals or the next, because that leaves me stuck in that set of ideals. So you got to think about it. That's why they say all birds of a feather flock together. They're not talking about if one of your homegirls is a hoe, all y'all are hoes. It means all of y'all carry the same wavelength or all on the same vibration of understanding, whether consciously or unconsciously. A lot of us have had people that have come into our lives that we have called friends at that space and time, some of that little human shit. And you'll have a person that's in your life that has nothing to do with anything that you've ever done positive. But they piggybacked on a negative or a traumatic event that happened in your life, and that's how they connected to you. People do not connect on positive. People connect based on negative. People do not connect on positive. People connect on negative. Negative connects to positive, and positive connects to negative. Two negative energies cannot bond because they're polar opposite. They'll push apart. That's why the good in you, that positive energy in you, that positive power that's within you, can stay so connected to the negative shit that's going on around you. That's how that works. They can stay being negative, being evil, whatever you want to call them, because they know you're going to remain positive about it. But the moment that you start moving in that negative sense, applying that same, the moment you start applying pressure to their negative, their shit's going to it's gonna count. It's gonna, what's that word? It's gonna cancel out because you're of the truer source. You're of the true source. That's that green. That's that greenhouse effect. That's that looking at mirror. That's like looking at that image in the mirror. Like I was looking myself in the mirror in the morning, and I say I am greatness. I am beautiful daughter. And I tell myself these affirmations in the morning. Sometimes I ain't got to look in the mirror anymore. I went past that exercise. I can just say it to myself because it's already within me. Understanding, tapping into my power, so to my power. That's how I encapsulate my energy. That's how I invoke my energy. I was watching. It was funny. Like a lot of things are being cartoons. You don't even realize it being a cartoon. A lot of us put on whether it's Ankhs or eyes or the Hanamasa or whatever these are crystals on stones, you should be invoking your power. These are reminding you to invoke your power into them. Everything that is on my person is a invoked piece that I've projected and I've invoked my energy into it. I invoke my energy into everything that is of me. That is the highest form of power to yourself. That's the way you keep your power in containment so you can use it. By them hitting you with all these emotional barrage of emotional attacks, psychological attacks, it makes you upset. Then you explode. And then you direct that energy straight into their mouths. Your sadness, your anger, your sadness is their breakfast. No. Yeah. Your sadness is their breakfast. Your bleak hope is their lunch. Your absolute fear and connection to that, that's their dinner. And they ain't even got the dessert yet. Think about how much you feed into these things that are going on around you. What the fuck does it matter anymore? It shouldn't even fucking matter anymore. I don't care about another person being shot in that aspect. I don't care. I have compassion for it, like damn, it's enough. But if I go into the human realm myself, I'm jealous of them. Like, damn, they got out of here first. But they had a lack of, did they have an understanding? Whether you think about it or not, think about it like this. The things that happen to you, you've already made the decision for it to happen to you based on your thought process or your thoughts. You knew it needed to happen. Your higher self, okay, cool. You want to do this, you want to achieve this, you want to achieve this, you want to achieve this. All right, this is the line of things that are going to happen. You made that decision. The moment that you set out the cause, the moment that you set up the thought process, yo, I need to make $1 million. I need to do this. I need to have my family be better. And all that shit go out of the woodworks. Your uncle start fucking smoking crack. Your mom admit that your real dad is the dude that's been your uncle for motherfucking years. And all that shit seems to go fucking berserk. That's the truth kicking your ass first. The truth is going to help, but it has to kick your ass first. Because it has to break away at the fucking ego that kept it all in line. Oh, I didn't want to say that to them because it might hurt their feelings. Fuck their feelings. How Bernie Mac say, fuck them kids. I only can, at the level that I'm at now, if someone was to say, do you want, I don't think somebody really will think about, if someone ever asked me to come speak to children, of course, I mean, I'll make it more, they're more blunt than, there's only two blunt entities on this planet. There's kids and old people. Kids because they don't know no fucking better. Don't know no better. And old people because they think they know too much. Only two different. Only two. Everything in between, they think, nah, I don't want to say it like this. We've been put in a constant perpetual state. That's what this political correctness, and you can't call retards retarded. You gotta say they have a mental illness. But then you open up that door, it's like, wait, what was considered a mental illness in the 1950s? What was considered a mental illness back in the 1950s? The 1970s, 1947. It wasn't until 1947 when they took you having the love for the same sex was a mental illness. Their arrogance is your escape. Their arrogance is your escape. That's why I keep telling you. They're meant to just distract you. But as you understand that they're just fucking arrogant because this is based on the level that the highest level for them is arrogance. The highest level for them is intellect. It gives them a sense of superiority in this realm. But if you understand that if intellect is the ceiling, it was the floor to where your level's at, you naturally are superior. So then you submit to the attributes. Okay, yeah, you're smart. Because an arrogant person loves to talk. The difference between talking and speaking. An arrogant person loves to talk about themselves. An arrogant person loves to talk. A wise man knows how to speak, knows when to speak. A fool doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. That's the thought process. A fool never knows when to shut the fuck up. The person that wants to use you all the fucking time, they know exactly how to come around you based on you doing the same exact things you've done over and over and over again. We do not connect based off positives. We connect based off negatives. And the negative is higher in the aspect when you get into the higher frequency of yourself, those higher senses on that, in that level, putting yourself in that thought process, just like similar to everybody right here that we're having when I drop these lectures. When I have a conversation, we're connecting on the negative, bringing light to the negatives. So by natural, when I do the next lecture, I'm bringing more light to the negative on which we're connecting on to understand, to propel to the next level. When you listen to a lot of these other lectures, they give you a bunch of negative based on the superiority of you needing something, so it feeds your ego. They'll tear you down to build you back up. I have compassion. I have true divine compassion for every energy, every entity that's rising into their consciousness. My thought process is to always see you as an equal. That's that thought process. That's the wavelength. You can always tell a person that has a true intention based on how they say things to you. Now, I can care less about your humanity. I can care less about humanity. I can care less about your humanity. I can care less about your ego. I can care less about those little parts of you that you're still holding on to because you're still learning. I can care less about those parts because I don't have those reflections within me. So for me to have a thought process, I can have the thought about it. I'm aware of it. That's how I'm able to connect because of the understanding of it. I can connect because I have the understanding of it. But the thought process of me saying, we need to go and raise up $1 million a piece, open up a bank, come up with a financial plan system, and this, and this. I'm higher than that. That's the stuff I do off camera. It doesn't really pertain to what I'm the message that I'm putting out. It doesn't really pertain to it. I can sit here and every day talk about that I'm vegan and talk about all the vegan meals that I eat. Other than the aspect of me saying, yeah, I get all of my nutrients faster and the things like that upon that level. Other than that, the human part of me will be sitting there saying, yeah, being a vegan and being organic, that's the way to save the earth. That would clash and have conflict with the message of me saying kill humanity, killing your humanity. In order for me to obtain a certain sense of clarity and a higher sense of clarity for me, I know that me being plant-based, it gives me my edge based on where I'm at and where I'm going. But that doesn't mean that's going to quite necessarily work for you. So I don't give out an answer based on that. I don't give out an answer based out on my ego being stroked. I'm never going to leave you on a cliffhanger and sit there and be like, yeah, well, you know, you do this, man. Hold up, wait, we almost out of time. Now we're going to do this next. Nah. I'm going to give you these straight facts. I'm going to give you that divine channel. The same way it comes to me, I give it to you. If there's bibliography, if there's research, there's reference points that I have that I've studied on something, then I give you the reference points, and then I go on about my business. As should you. As I go on to do some more research, you should be doing more research. Tune in the next time right after that. If you like the vibration that is on, guess what? Got a podcast. Tune into the podcast. If you like the information you got from the podcast, you like the information you get from the lecture on YouTube on the Friday nights, guess what? I got the discussion board, my group meet. Hop on in. Dispersing this information at this level, this is the sharing of knowledge. This is the methodology of applying. This is what, even if someone came and looked at one of these, they wouldn't understand shit that we were saying. Except for what they will only understand the words in plain English that they're getting. But to the ones that understand the occult and the ability to speak the messages, the frequencies within the light, they come on a higher frequency and understand exactly what I'm saying. This message is not for the weak. This message is not for the mundane. This message is not for the ones that want Donald Trump out of office and they still miss Barack Obama. This is not for them. This is not for the one wondering why Kanye West is saying and doing what he's doing, when if you actually sit back and think about it, the motherfucker said that shit back on the Watch the Throne album when he was talking about the way I write these been the next 4 chapters in the Bible. You already knew he was on back then in that thought process. This is for the ones that are stepping back and hearing to learn. These are the ones that are sitting back to observing to actually see. This isn't for the ones that want to combat and go back and forth. There's no more going back and forth. You saying you tired of the plight of your people? Stop warring with your people. Since you want to be so involved with people, stop warring with your people. That's the application of the knowledge. Instead of arguing who gave the knowledge better, you sound just like the motherfuckers that you're saying that are oppressing you. In not understanding your enemy, you are becoming your enemy. In not understanding your enemy, you are becoming your enemy. In not understanding your lower self, you're stuck in your lower self in all of its environmental reflections. Greenhouse of mirrors. You in the fun house. It ain't fun for you. I never seen a fun house that was fun in the beginning when you get lost in that bitch and you mad as shit. But when you finally get out, you're excited. Oh, I want to go do it again. That's what y'all stuck in. That's what a lot of these motherfuckers out here are stuck in. They're stuck in the greenhouse. They don't want to come out of the greenhouse. They're stuck in there. They love that shit. Oh, it's dark. It's gloomy. They love the greenhouse. They love the fun house. They love that they can augment reality based by how they want to look at things to feel comfortable, to get that little bit of excitement in their life every single day. They love that shit. A lot of these so-called cats have been fighting this great fight, this black pro-black fight for so fucking long that they have become the staple agent of that fight. The reason that they're getting what they're getting is based on they've been in it for so fucking long. They haven't graduated to the next level. So that's why they're in conflict. So their lower self is in constant conflict because it can't get to your higher. In your life, you can have people that in your life that the minute you start doing some real shit, you start making some real fucking moves, you start getting to that fucking bag that you want to get to, the minute you start getting to it, that's when that real shit starts coming out. Because you have to remember the way that something was started. In order to sustain gaining the energy from that, it must maintain the same formula. So if I connected to you based on negative, your man cheated on you, some other, we were drinking buddies, some other, we were smoking buddies, some other, whatever, connected y'all in the fucking first place, guess what? That shit has to continue in some way, shape, or form. It may not happen as in being drinking buddies, but now the same people that you guys used to have conversations about, thinking they were too good, and now that you're one of the too good motherfuckers, guess what? They're going to talk about you the same exact way because that's their nature and their element. That's their role in the movie. You must start accepting the roles of people in your movie, in the script. Because if you don't, that's what you get locked in. You have to understand that you made these decisions before you even got here. So your mother may have not been the best mother, but she was purposed based upon what you needed to go through. If you really want to help her understand your traumas that were caused, and then to get to understand your traumas, understand the traumas that she went through. Understand the traumas that your grandmother went through, her mother. Understand the traumas of her great stepmother, great grandmother, great great grandmother went through. Grandfather, uncle, brother, sister. That's how you break those curses. That's how you get out of the greenhouse of mirrors. That's how you get out of that reflection of so much hatred and so much pain that's on your shoulders. A person doesn't understand the balance if they can never go to that level in that space. A person never understands the level of balance that they can go to if they cannot go to a certain space. So the people that are around the entities, we'll say white people, because they're meant to distract you. It's similar to a child being little and can't go certain places. It's similar to, like, let's say you about to go to work. If you have a kid, You're about to go to work. You know you can't take your kid to work. And you know why you can't take your kid to work. Kids can't go to work. They're not permitted to go there because of those regulations and those rules of that space. So they'll throw a hissy fit. They'll get sick. They'll fake sick. They'll go put a thermometer under a light bulb or on a coffee cup or whatever. I've never actually done it. And I said I didn't want to go to school. I just didn't go to school. But they put themselves in that position to lock you to where you're at so you can't go do what you need to go do. It worked for them as children. In this realm, they've been given a demiurge as a god that tells them that they're children. So since they don't grow from what they learned, and they're repeating the same things that used to be fun, but now they become manipulations. They're now doing it as a manipulate. They're just doing the manipulation on a higher level. What do you think is going to translate into your life at that point in time? The same damn manipulations. So, at best, they just learn how to manipulate really well to make you feel inferior, to not understanding something, because you don't see it from their level. So you have a conversation with somebody, talk to somebody, deal with somebody, and you never quite get your point across. Or a person will give you half the story. You ever met somebody, pretty sure all of us have met somebody, that gives you a half of a story. Or they start from the middle, or they give you their side. Man, you just want to believe me, man. We're supposed to be boys, you're supposed to be girls, whatever. Woo. I ain't believing you based off our friendship. I'm basing off facts. That real friend be like, yeah, you do be tripping a lot. You don't like listening to other people's perspectives or point of views or their thoughts or how they're feeling about things. You do like doing that shit a lot. Oh shit, for real? Yeah. Nah, but I was right. What are you right about? You're right based off of your truth and your knowledge. You're right based off of your truth and knowledge and how you're applying your knowledge. Skittles. That's what you're right upon. So the minute somebody challenges you, the moment somebody challenges your space, that's when that emotion kicks in. That's when that humanity kicks in. One methodology, I saw that last week, was talking about telling them they're right and just keep moving forward. The next level of this methodology is going deeper into the submission, but going into yourself, that's the possession. Going into yourself is the possession. As you are walking into your higher self, love being an aspect and understanding in that aspect, that is one of the ultimate possessions, because you're not yourself when you're in love. You're about that person. You're about whatever it is you're putting your love into. You've become possessed. That's why people become possessive. People that are possessive, it's in an aspect of, it's not really, it's actually the negative side of it. It's actually the reason that they're possessive because it's based upon lust. It is based upon the inner jealousy of that person. So to be viewed as a possession by something that has a sense of jealousy because they cannot go to the level that you can go to, you start understanding why they try so hard to keep you down. You start to understand why this entire space feeds upon your struggle. And then you start to understand the reason that you connect to everybody else is because you're connecting to your struggle. Similar to someone that is above you that's pulling you up, they will connect to your struggle in understanding until you get over that shit. When a person is below you, they will criticize you for even thinking about changing it. When you start understanding these thought processes as you're killing your humanity, you start seeing the people that are around you and what their true purpose is and their intention is. This is how when you see something, someone tell you something about when you start looking at people for their spirit and their soul, everything starts making more sense. That's how all this shit starts making more fucking sense. Because you're putting yourself in an aspect talking around people that never seem to want to do anything other than just go smoke all day. That's an energy. That's an archon. That's a vampiric energy that's coming towards you. The motherfucker that always say you leave it to your ancestors. That's a vampiric energy. The motherfucker that tells you that you need to start listening to the Orishas. I don't have to listen to the Orishas. I don't have to go pray to Shango. Nigga, I am Shango. I don't have to go bow and kiss Lilith's feet. If I was a Team Darkside nigga, I ain't got to go kiss Lilith's feet to get some energy. Step in that room and I can go beat the brakes off of Lilith. That's the thought process. You're on that fucking level. The moment that you proclaim that you're a god, a goddess, a titan, a chaos being, you must live in that space. In order to learn that space, you must live in that space. You cannot live it. You cannot learn from afar. You cannot learn from afar. I just sat back over here and peeped it. Oh, they like brushing Oshun's head. What the fuck? You have to step into that position. That's your energy. That's your power. That's how you grow your confidence. The reason that you want to sit there and be a servant to something is because you don't feel confident in your power. You don't understand your true power. You don't understand your power. You don't understand how diverse and how strong and how powerful you truly are. You believe you're powerful, and that's nice. That's a nice start. It's a nice start. But you have to know that you're powerful. You have to know that you're great. And as you know, watch things fall in line that reinforce your knowing. The things that will fall in line will fall in sync with your knowing. It's either falling in thought, it's either going to fall in sync with you knowing or fall in sync with you feeling or what you're thinking. Your thinking is of that low of that intellect. 1 + 1 = 2. But in that same intellect, I can say 1 + 1 = 1. Because when I put 1 together with 1, it creates 1. Now, if I go 1 + 1 = 2, I'm going to say 1 + 1 = 2. But if I understand both sides of this coin, I understand 1 + 1 reinforces 1. So I'm one with the energy. I'm one with the Orishas. I'm one with Mama Della Luna, Cristo Negro. I'm one with Baron Samni, Mama Brigitte. I'm one as I'm one as the masculine principle of the energy. But since I've stepped into that spiritual realm, I'm becoming more one with my feminine energy, my intuition, my wisdom, as Libra pointed out earlier. I'm more in tune with the wisdom that I don't know shit. I need to understand more. That's how I build my confidence. That's how I take myself to the next level. I'm not taking myself to the next level. That's why I'm not challenging myself. Trying to get an adjustment there with an extension. How this entire realm and world cultivates and culminates to itself is you're either the predator or the prey. You're either the torturer or the tortured. That's how this world wants to separate you into these two compartments. You have to turn everything around and look at it from this angle. From the negative aspects, I'm the tortured. But as I move forward, I understand the torturer. Because now I'm the torturer. I went from being the tortured to the torturer. Because I'm constantly beating my old self in the head. Similar, you think about the 50 and Ja Rule beef. 50 still has not let off of Ja Rule in that aspect. Said the minute I let off of him, he's going to think he has air to actually move and breathe. Every single day, I'm killing the old aspect. I'm killing my human self. In aspects that are not prevalent to my growth. The only thing that can stifle and stop you is you. The only thing that's going to put you in a bind of some sort is you. Nothing else outside of you is going to put you in any type of fucking bind other than the bind that you put yourself in. That's why the spells work so well. That's why the hex can work so well. That's why that's why the mind control can work so well. Because your mind is still stuck on you're not confident enough. You're the lesser thinking you're thinking you're the lesser, you're the higher, you're actually the higher, but you're in the mindset of the lesser. So all the lesser can do is look up. All the lesser can do is look up and ask why. But when you're the greater, you can look down and you can answer. You can look for the answer. You can apply the knowledge. You can apply that wisdom that you gained and take yourself to the next level. You break all the mirrors in the greenhouse. You break all the windows in the greenhouse. You bring the greenhouse down. You go to the next level of that house of mirrors. Because each level to that house, until you Charlie, and you hit that button in the elevator and go all the way through, you're still stuck in the box. You're still protected in some way. But you have the confidence that you are able to protect your fucking self. You still think something outside of you can harm you. You still think something outside of you can kill you. Why the fuck are you scared of death? When they can show you a movie, Troy, Gladiator, any of these war movies where they try to make themselves a fucking hero and they say to die in battle is the highest fucking honor. The reason that you're scared to die is perhaps pistachio. The reason that you're afraid to die, perhaps, is because you don't even know that you're in a fucking war. You don't even know what kind of war it is. You're thinking it's this physical war against racism and building walls and shit. It's a psychological and it's a psychological war. Because as long as I get you gravitating towards the thoughts that I need you to gravitate towards, guess what? I ain't even got to do shit. I can show you the picture of a missile crisis. And you'll think the entire fucking time that we're going to use missiles to kill you. To cause a riot. But then I'll give your dumbass that fucking chicken sandwich. They show you everything they want to do in movies. They show you everything they want to do in a fucking movie. They showed you a fucking comedy about a fried chicken chain using chicken to take control of black people. Let's go a couple years forward. Up, they got that Popeye's chicken sandwich up. Hell, they drop most of their sciences in some of them black fucking movies. Pootie Tang, there was a belt talking about this nigga couldn't even speak fucking English, but the nigga fuck real good. Then they got your ass looking at fucking Magic Mike, swooning over fucking Trey Songz. Looking at Chris Brown to put y'all in bed. Because you're not on a vibration higher than it, it affects you the way that they need it to affect you. I can listen to trap music all day. As well, I listen to some Earth, Wind, and Fire when I'm in that mood. I can listen to trap music all fucking day. Because the repetition of the beat, those beats be sounding real, real morbid. The repetition of the beat and the tone that they're using on that frequency is great for spell work. So if I'm cooking up a new concoction, I'm talking about pushing and whipping up some I'm whipping up some fucking vegan eggs, whipping up some just egg for an omelet, or I'm putting together notes for a lecture, a speaking engagement that I'm having, or a consultation. I'll pull up playing cooking Kevin Gates. I'll pull up Listen in the Future. What am I doing? On the lowest level, I'm submitting to the attributes of the ideal of what I'm supposed to look like. The occultist, the young occultist, is learning how to be in plain fucking sight. I don't have to put on a fucking robe and a bunch of different beads and shit to show who I am. That's ego. That's fucking ego. The reason that I wear the pieces that I wear now is because they're invoked and they're my energy is invoked into my pieces. Hell, I've been drawing insignia. I've been drawing sigils since I was 8 and didn't even realize it. How of y'all have been? If you ever drew that S, the little S with like the three lines, and you connect them to make that S, you were drawing a fucking sigil. Didn't even fucking realize you were doing sigil work at a young fucking age. A lot of the things that we did when we were younger was of God level shit. We just didn't know what the fuck it was. We didn't have the knowledge that corresponded with what we were doing. So now that we have the knowledge, that's when I talk about going back to understand yourself. That's what that means. Going back to when you were little and the shit that you did when you were little, understanding why you did it in the first place. That's what that means. Going back to understand why you did it in the fucking first place. All those repressed memories in your head. Yes, I have compassion, but I will not sit here and say it shouldn't have happened to you. Maybe it happened to make you better. Remove the thought process of a burden. It was something that taught you. It was something that taught you to be better, taught you to be stronger. That's what it taught you. If you're still looking at it in the aspect that it hurt you, yeah, it hurt you. Duh. But it didn't hurt you, the spirit, the soul. It hurt Clarice. The things that Carlos went through. But the things little Carlos went through, the occult alchemist, Lucifer didn't go through. So since I didn't go through them in my higher self, they don't weigh down my heart. So now things can't connect to me into keeping me feeling like I have something to prove to somebody else. The only time I have something to prove something to is to my offsprings, nieces and nephews, and myself. Anybody that's around me on that level. Everybody else, yeah, go over there somewhere. I have nothing to prove to anybody that is human. I have a conversation and I'll say something to somebody and they'll be like, well, you say you're doing all these things. How about you make this water flow? That happened to me one time. I proceeded to pick up the cup that the water was in. And I threw the water in their face and said, hup, water's floating. I made the water float. You can't even begin to understand the nature of your powers. These are Skittles. These are not, because these look very, very blue. Taking your aspect into the energy of where you're going to take yourself to the next level, if you're still looking at it as a human. The greatest thing that you need to get into is our imagination. That same space that had you mixing up leaves and dirt in a fucking glass with a stick in the backyard because you thought you were a magician or a wizard, that's that same space we need to get back intact with. The same way that they program belief systems into your mind, you didn't think that they would program your own, they would program your imagination into you? Because it's easier to program your mind and give you the program if I start with the encompassing thought process of giving you fear. Because now I control your imagination. So now if I show you something that has more truth to it, you can't look at it. You don't look forward in that aspect. You don't grow in that aspect because you're stuck. Skittles are great. You're stuck in that aspect of it doesn't connect. Just like that star, the little S with the marks, and you had to connect all the dots to make the image. That's what the books are for. That's what the knowledge is for. That grows into your aspect of growing into that wisdom in order to create the sigil. That's sigil work. That's the basis of sigil work. The basis to all of these magics, all of these external alchemies, all these external hexes, and all these curses and shit, it starts with the believing and confidence in yourself. Our ancestors had that because they came from that space. That's why when the Haitian revolted said, damn with their gods, we're gonna represent our gods and our principles. That's why they were able to win, because they had confidence, godfidence. They had confidence. All those slave rebellions and uprisings, the motherfuckers had godfidence. They were willing to die in the physical form because they knew that it would grant them freedom. A lot of people right now are saying that they want to have freedom in a greater, and they desire something greater, but they simply want better conditions and hardwood floors in their shack. They want gold chains around their neck. They want their noose to be dipped in gold. A lot of them out here, all they're happy with is the ability to, instead of them sitting there, they'll pay the same price to tell you that, yo, I can't do it that way. Why would you do it that way? Why would you walk? Nigga, I'm in tune with myself. Why the fuck wouldn't I walk? It's right there across the street. Why the fuck wouldn't I walk? Trying to bring your confidence down, man. Girls ain't checking for the type of nigga like that. They checking for a nigga that got the ice. Okay. I don't want a girl. I want something higher. Bitches ain't checking for that. I don't want a bitch. I want something higher. Niggas ain't checking for that. You shouldn't be wanting a nigga. You should want something more. You're desiring more, right? In desiring something, you have to accept the challenges and the tests that come with what you desire. So if you're desiring your higher self, in order for you to get to that transmission, the foundation has to be struck upon where you started. The foundation is structured upon where you started. See how that cultivates that energy. You're so used to being seen for a certain price. It's funny because motherfuckers is walking around breaking their neck for clothes to fit in somewhere. You'll sit there and kill yourself for a look just to be accepted in a certain space. when I was younger, the reason everybody connected to me is not because, I was different any fucking way, but it wasn't my difference or what they deem weirdness or not being the same. It was my authentic self. The reason a person connects to you on negative or positive sense is because of your authentic self. The authenticity of your truth. The same reason that you are hated is the same reason that you are loved in that aspect. It's for your authenticity. It challenges them. Either way, it's worship. You should be happy that the white people hate you so fucking much, because they're putting so much energy into they're worshiping you. They're putting so much power into you because they're worshiping you. Because they can't do shit without your power. Motherfuckers in your life that hate on you, thank them more than the motherfuckers that love you, because they are giving you power. Thank them. You're right. Move on. That kills your ego. That bruises their ego. That takes away the conduit connection of power in order to being sourced back to them. Because they want you to feed their negative. Feed my light. I shed light on them fake niggas. Okay. Feed my light. Keep my light burning. I need some more energy for my light. I love the dark. I love it. I relish in it. Because I understand myself more and more as I'm in the dark. When I come out into the light, I'm protected by the dark. Because the ones that fear the dark, they can't protect themselves versus your light. Because from the dark is the true light. That's why your skin is a weapon. That's why you knowing anything, because if you put any true knowledge in your brain, in your mind, in your subconscious, and it locks in within there, it's locked into the dark. You're the ultimate fucking darkness. So what they're fearful of is they can't go in there and change it around. So if we're both locked outside the house and you're thinking about, it's my house, I don't want to break the window because I don't want to pay for it. The motherfucker ain't got nothing to lose, will break the window and say, well, we got into your house. That's the distraction that they put you in. The same fucking TV station that sits there and shows you your Wheel of Fortune or whatever show you watching is the same station that's going to have the fucking news on. It's going to tell you about the last motherfucker that got killed up the street from you. So how much of a friend are they? Once you start thinking like this, you'll notice that certain people don't come around you anymore. Once you start saging your crib, once you start saging your house, and you start building your altars, don't worry, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's your confidence. That's your sign. That's your sign. That's your validation. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. The human side of you will keep trying to have your friends come around If they're not coming around because you're doing new shit, you're more in tune with your spiritual self, they weren't your fucking friends. If you're going around and your family's beefing with you over the shit that you're saying that you fucking crazy, they were just motherfuckers that share some genetics with you. In order for you to connect to a physical form, you had to connect to a certain process of the genetics or the DNA in order to get to this realm. So they were just conduits of that energy. That's all they are. Your kids ain't your kids. They're learning experiences. They're reflections of you. They're reflections of your lower. Once you let go of needing or wanting something, everything comes to you in abundance. So that man or that woman that you can't live without, they're not yours. They are a learning experience. When you let go the need or the want or the ownership of it, it can truly encapsulate the abundance of the power that you want. As you connect to the masculine, if you're the queen, if you're a goddess, queen, and you connect to the feminine, the masculine aspect of the energy of your mate, you become androgynous. So you become one anyway. So the physical part wasn't fucking yours. You're stuck on the physical part. Yes, during role play, when you're doing your rituals or however you do, when you put your ritual together, yeah, you say certain things, but you're encompassing and understanding that that word doesn't even make sense. Because for me to have to say mine encapsulates that it loses the power of its function because it's mine. So basically, as my thought processes, I think it's only mine based on the thought process that encapsulates that thought. So if my mind stopped at a certain level, that's as far as that's mine. Positive and negative. You inherently know not to go kill your moms. Based on the level where you're from. But if that white boy walks into the church where your mother's at and kills everybody in there, whether you protest or you forgive, you're giving your energy into one or two places. I'm not saying don't grieve, because that's that normal part of it. But what did it show you? That white boy that killed you, white boy, whoever it was that killed, what did they show you? What were they bringing to the surface? That's similar when people talk about ancestors lived through me. Why are you reliving their struggle in your fucking head? Amazing. Why are you reliving their trauma in your fucking head? If I hear one more speech talking about, look at how far we've come as a black people, I always notice in fucking shit they never say nation. You'll never, ever, ever hear these motherfuckers say we coming as a nation. Because in the physical realm, a nation on this realm is subjugated to the bylaws and the standards and the commercial codes based upon the corporation that is over them. So you got to start looking at both sides of that fucking coin. Back when Bobby Hemmett back in the day broke down that Farrakhan is a fucking agent, because how does somebody that has started with no financial had no financial support, all of a sudden holding these shows in these spaces, in these venues that if a basketball game was to be played there or a sporting event was to play there, the team owns it. So the owner does it. They have to be owned by somebody. They have to be owned by somebody. That's something that you have to start fucking looking into when you're looking at the information that you're gathering. Where did this information come from? Why does it seem that you're the only person with the information? Can you give me a point of reference, please, sir or ma'am? Greenhouse of mirrors. That's where that gaslighting comes from. A motherfucker every day can sit here and tell you every motherfucking day that you are the motherfucking greatest on the motherfucking planet and all this great shit to make your ego feel fucking good. But when it comes time you actually putting in some fucking work, you got to understand that the white people, they're your enemy. No, they're not. Because I'm not a people. I'm not a human anymore. That's human shit. Racism, that's human shit. White privilege, that's white people shit. That's human shit. I'm not fucking human. That shit doesn't have anything to do with me on the level that I'm trying to go to. In order to truly break away, this is how you must start seeing shit. If you're uncomfortable, good, it's working. If you're uncomfortable, good, it's working. If I call you a piece of shit, if I got on here and call you a piece of shit for like 25 minutes, which pretty soon I might start doing that anyway. Other than that's a whole nother conversation. And I tell you, you ain't shit for an hour and a half. But then I give you some impactful knowledge. It's kind of like a sensei. You ever watch the Kung Fu movies? You ever looked at those Kung Fu movies? And the sensei was always saying, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. Or actually, there was actually a very good scene in, I don't know if anybody watched the WB, but Arrow, the first season, when they were breaking down what he was going through. That's a great occult movie, similar to like the Batman Beyond. It was all in DC. The cult. It's funny. You just think about it. You start, as you come into your higher self, you start seeing things from the different fucking angles. You start seeing the stories within the stories. You start seeing the conversations within the conversations. You start reading between the lines. The closest thing that was your face that they showed in a fucking movie was a fucking villain is when they showed you the fucking Joker. They put him in a fucking mask. That's the ultimate form of fucking submission. This motherfucker submitted to a character for you to see, and everybody thought he was a fucking freak. But he did exactly what he wanted to do. He achieved everything he wanted to do under the veil of the mask that they gave him. When you start understanding shit like this, the villain make more sense than the fucking good guy. Because the good guy is balancing himself off of fucking morals. Did you notice that as soon as you said motherfuckers, when we started waking up, when we started talking about we absorb our power, we translate the energy from the sun and turn it to energy, and people put up that little thing about Superman, then they gave you the other part of Superman when Superman was going against the grain for ultimate justice. You say you want justice, you say you want peace, you say you want better. What are you willing to do for it? Because the same people that are going against our anti your justice, anti your peace, anti your being a citizen, anti all your shit, they're doing everything possible to stop you from getting to it. Why aren't you? You still trying to battle them with the same rocks. Now you want to throw rocks at each other. They came out of a fucking cave. They know where all the good rocks is at. But you want to go polishing them up and make them beads and stones and bracelets. And think all of your power is coming from the stones. No, dumbass. Your energy is being transmitted back into the stone. When I look at the tiger's eye, it's on my wrist. When I looked at the description, it means protection. So now that that thought process is set into my subconscious, I put on my tiger eye stone. I can close my eyes and be in the dark and know which bracelet it is because I set it there. I set the intention in my subconscious. Now I don't need to think about it. That's how you set your intention. That's how you set your intention based on your manifestation and what you put your attention on. My attention is no longer set on if I don't wear the, oh shit, I ain't got my fucking beads. I ain't got my stones on. Because I invoke my energy into this. But to submit to the attributes of the ideal of the people that are the beings, the energy that is around me, I wear this. And if they ask me, so what does this mean? I can give them the meaning of what it means, but they don't understand that I just spoke in light. So all their understanding is the English or the Spanish or whatever language I have to say it to them in. That's all they understand is based on their level of knowledge and knowing what they think and what they believe. But I'm coming from a different fucking level. But I'm humble enough, and I'm humble so my wisdom allows me to move and walk amongst the people. People getting stuck on the Jesus story, walking amongst the people. You, Jesus, walking amongst the people. To the people that don't like you, you're the devil walking up and down the fucking earth. The allegory was the prophecy of you. But you're getting stuck in semantics. You want to be a Power Ranger. You want to play dress up and spend all this money playing dress up. convey a message to make you feel like you're more superior. And you're right. Congratulations. You are the waiter to the entities, to the demiurges. That's all you are. You're a waiter. You're the server. You whistle and sing your nice little songs, not even understanding, if you go back in history, the reason that you were told to whistle is because you couldn't spit and master food. So if you can't speak, if you're all constantly speaking and debating and battling against motherfuckers in your own fucking community, of your own collective, you have no time to sit back and plan. You have no chance to sit back and study. You have no chance to do anything else. And I can feed from your negative. You think you're doing something positive, but you just feeding my negative because you giving power to my negative. I care fucking less. Hell, since getting to this fucking level, I haven't dealt with a fucking racist white person. I haven't dealt with a racist white man. I haven't dealt with the white man in the way people are saying the white man dealing with us. I haven't even dealt with a white man. Because that no longer fucking concerns me. That's not me no more. Different address. We looking for that nigger boy. Oh, that nigga live over there somewhere. I don't know that nigga address. I ain't got his phone number. Putting yourself in your higher self requires the ultimate sacrifice. Once you sacrifice yourself and kill your humanity, that energy that you're wanting to connect with and do all these great things with, you can be possessed by it. Oh, that's scary. Past a certain point, people don't know how to speak to you anymore. At this point in time, people don't even know how to approach you anymore. The goal is to become so brand new that in order for a motherfucker to get to know you, they got to start from the fucking beginning. Key aspects that you've been doing that is a motherfucker will always say something from your memories. Damn, you remember when we used to do this? Damn, you remember when we used to do that? Damn, you remember we used to go crazy over here them nights? Damn, you remember them late nights we used to have till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning? For niggas that, us motherfuckers that was up top. Yo, you remember going to the club and it was dark? You had to put your sunglasses on when you walked out because it was morning time? Damn. Yeah, I remember that shit. Ain't me no more. All they have is memories. That's why they reenact the civil rights. That's why they still react. To understand how stupid somebody is and really think about it. Every year, there is a group of these so-called white people reenacting the Civil War. Why in the fuck would I want to reenact something where at the end I know I'm going to die and I lost any fucking money? Why? Why would I reenact something knowing the same exact result is going to happen? Why would I commit to insanity? Why would I commit to the psychological traumatic event that put me in the same position that I'm already in? So in an aspect, both sides of the coin, why would I remember slavery unless I have not studied from it? Why would I want to remember slavery? They'll tell you to forget slavery, but then they'll show you another slave movie. Does that make sense? That's like similar to like if I sat here and this entire bottle was filled with Patron and I was still human. This is not Patron, this is water, by the way. But if this entire bottle was filled with Patron and I consumed this entire bottle within like a 3-minute period, I know it's going to fuck my stomach up. I know that for about as long as I stay at a certain temperature, I'm okay. But the moment that temperature fucking change, I'm going to get fucking sick. And I'm going to wake up in the morning, man, I'm never drinking the fucking again, man. I almost died last night. Yo, man, we having another party tonight. I'm in. That's the type of shit that you're going to start seeing. I care less about them. And since I care less about them, they don't exist. The only things that I truly care about into understanding are the things that come into my life for me to better understand. I.e., jumping on the bus and a motherfucker got a bag of fucking motherfucker didn't have no thing to wrap his sandwich in, and he got a pork chop sandwich. Funny story. Since we going off true life events, I remember when I was in middle school. I think it was like in like the 6th or the 7th grade, and I remember I had a homeboy named Sean. He was mad with, like, he was like real nigga weird. Like, he was the kid that one day he came to school and he had like this grease stain in his pocket, and we were looking at him. And I was like, yo, what's that grease stain in your pocket? He was like, oh, that's from the pork chop I had put in my pocket. Why'd you have a pork chop in your pocket? Because I was running late for school and my mom said, grab something quick. And I just grabbed the pork chop and put it in my pocket. You didn't think about wrapping it in a napkin or anything? Nah, I didn't have time for all that. Fast forward, motherfuckers that ain't native to a certain environment, i.e. the environment that we're in now, only know how to act out to show themselves as being a part of the environment. So, yes, in that aspect, you shall forever be a savage. That's what that means. You shall forever be a savage because you're not native to this land. This land, this environment, this realm isn't you. It's of you. It was created of the same stuff that you're created of, but it's not your place. This ain't your house to kick your feet up in. See how that makes sense? This isn't your house to kick your feet up in. This isn't your house. In order to understand that at that level and understand how you move in that level, and how you move in that space. That's how that works. Until you understand that and you put yourself in that space, you will you're going to die trying to fit in. You're going to die trying to be a part of something that you were never meant to be a part of. Think about the clarity you have when you release the burden of holding on to something that was detrimental to your survival. Think about how good it feels when you let go of the narrative, when you first let go of the narrative to say that you were conscious and you were aware of some shit. Think of how you felt when you knew some shit. That same energy will change as you realize that you don't know shit. As much as I have expounded upon intellectually in knowledge of reading and studying and scholarship, I still don't know shit. And I'm happy, I'm content in the uncomfort of not knowing shit. Damn, I got a big ass head. I'm truly confident in not knowing shit. I love it. I love that I don't know anything because it gives me room to know more. It gives me room to be able to sit humbly and listen to somebody tell me something. Even if I already responded upon it, it's nice to get it's a certain energy that comes with it, or euphoria, to know that you're on the right track. That's what it shows you. It shows you two things on the same track. One, that you know things and you're on the right track and your syncope is on the right level. And two, it's time for you to learn something else. A lot of us get stuck in the same space and then we wonder why the reflection around us is I'm getting tired of this or I'm bored with it. I'm not bored ever. I'm never tired. I don't get tired. More of that trap music coming out. These aspects that I travel in, of these aspects of these channels that I connect to as I move into the higher realms of myself, make it impossible. So I feel more omnipresent. The omnipresent part of being a God is that you're on the wavelength and everything is syncope, is a repeating in that same notion, that same motion. The ominous part of it is when you are expounding upon the higher levels of yourself and gaining in new knowledge. That's becoming ominous. That's becoming omnipresent. The same way that they plagiarized and gave you this great explanation of what a God is, that's what you should be embracing. Understanding the negatives to understand yourself and navigate more into the positive. So when you were little and someone said there was no God, because why would a God allow his people to suffer the way that they suffer? And you're looking at it as and to learn, not the reply. That's the important part. The learning, not the replying part. You understand you're only as good as your works. Nobody is going to save you other than you. No one is going to hand you anything without a price tag attached. Nothing is free. It requires some type of transfer of currency. Whether it's sacrificing the day to study, or sacrificing a night of partying to study, or sacrificing a night of partying to sleep so you can get up in the morning or the next day. It requires a sacrifice. The negative and the positive. The cause, the effect. That's the karma. Everybody's expecting karma to be this bad bitch that comes in the way, that if someone does something to me, then karma's going to come back around and bite them in the ass. And then you get upset because you're wondering why they're still moving around scathe free and karma hasn't kicked in. Maybe, just maybe, they were doing what they were supposed to do. Just maybe. They were doing what they were supposed to do. Looking at the spirit of a person. Because if you're stuck on the image of the physical of a person, you'll be looking at your own skin folk like they were you. And the things that they say gives you that reflection in your greenhouse for you to nurture upon. That's why I don't fuck with black people now. So I don't fuck with niggas now. So I don't fuck with bitches now. That's the reflection of yourself. What you telling yourself is you don't fuck with yourself. You don't understand yourself enough to understand the purposing of why certain things are coming into your life at the times that they come, based upon your thought process. Your mental clarity. Because you're foolish enough with an arrogance to yourself of not understanding yourself. They just chalk it up. They show that shit all through the fucking Lucifer, the show Lucifer. Because all they can show you is how they understand it from the human perspective and the intellectual perspective. We have a natural knowing to us. You just know when you don't feel like going somewhere. You just know you don't want to deal with certain people. That's your intuition. That's your spiritual intelligence. When your grandmother would sit you down and tell you about people, she was speaking to you from a spiritual energy. They knew that. They knew it took a certain amount of time to cultivate spiritual energy, your spiritual intelligence. So in order to stop you from cultivating in that space, they separated you away from your spirituality. They gave you fear. They gave you death. They gave you an image to see. They give you images constantly to see, to trigger the traumas into their favor. The same trauma exists on both sides of that polarity. But how it's triggered, that's the key. That's the key, is how it's triggered. If you trigger it, you have the power to it. When they trigger it, they can get the power from it. So when they do a sacrifice on fucking TV and they show you that, your power goes into it whether you protest or whether you protest or you forgive them. They have the power over you. But if you kill your human self, that shit don't even fucking matter to you. I oblige you to take it all back. It's yours. Do what Christopher Columbus did and discover it. Discover it all over again. I dare you. I challenge you. I dare you to put that bullet right here. And shatter your entire psyche of your old self. I dare you to kill yourself. I dare you to give yourself that headshot. That's what that knowledge is. That's that headshot. The more potent the knowledge, the more potent the headshot. You gotta aim for the head. Why do you think they keep showing you the image? Because they're aiming for your head. They're either shooting you in your head with the image, and it affects your heart, so they shot you in the heart. And then they affect your stomach by what shit they put in your fucking food. So the Popeyes chicken sandwich, Trayvon Martin getting shot, that hit your heart. It was a heart jerker. And then he's shooting your head, showing you fucking Love and Hip Hop every day on fucking TV. So they gave you an image. They attack your emotions, or they attack your heart. And then they give you a fucking chicken sandwich. They give you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They feed you. They fatten you up to siphon all the energy from you. That's their game. The end game is you saying, you know what? Fuck it, I don't care. You right. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's the end game. You taking your power back by saying, you know what? He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know what? He shouldn't have been out there selling them fucking cigarettes in front of that fucking corner store. Even though he was doing it for his family, there's millions of other ways to do it. Once you get that into your mind and you shake your fucking ego, you can actually start creating the examples of what it is to do it. I give you 3 examples that require great sacrifice of myself. On a day off, which will usually be like a Monday for me, that's when I record the podcast. That's when I've started recording the podcast. To release them shits at 6 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. That's me showing the example of, if I want to say something, I want to speak upon something, I created my own platform to do so. That's that example. My ego doesn't stop me from doing it, so I just fucking do it. Another major example is me setting a platform to live stream a lecture of printing out the information, created a YouTube channel. The same way that we go back and forth on Facebook every single day, Instagram showing all these great memes and powerful impactfuls, I created a page. About 405 people strong on the page. I'm not doing it for follows. I'm not doing it for likes. Though I have compassion, I thanks. I give humongous thanks for the love and the likes and the shares and the conversations that I have. I'm not doing it for the purpose to make my ego feel better. So what happens naturally? In abundance, everything that comes with it comes with it. Everything that's supposed to come with it comes with it in abundance. At its divine alignment. So I ain't got to hustle for shit. I can simply walk through the garden. And if anybody saw Supernatural, when Sam was actually allowed Lucifer to take over his body, and he was sitting there amongst all the havoc, and he was sitting there smelling a rose, I can walk amongst all of the havoc, and I can just move ever so gently, absorbing the energy from all of these spaces, because I'm set as the ideal. I've submitted to the attributes of the ideal of what I need to submit to in order to move through that space. So I'm sweet to the tongue, but I'm bitter to the belly. Similar to when you look at certain insects in the wild, that birds won't go towards them because they know, because of the colors of them, they're deadly. That's why they don't like your skin. Because you're deadly. But you don't understand your own power. So instead of embracing and becoming what you need to become, you stay where you're at. And that's cool. That's good. That's great. That's good for you. But for me and the ones that are in the mindset of being a true higher being, a higher power, from us, let the dead lay with the dead. Stop allowing yourself to be food. Stop lowering your vibration to fit in. Stop lowering your vibration to simply be put into another position where you have to use more energy to get out of it, and then you're too tired to go away from it. That's where we're at. That's the mindset. That's the thought process. That's where we're at tenfold when we're going through the things that we're going through in that lifestyle, in that process. That's what we're going through. That's what it boils down to. Killing your humanity, killing your ego is the only way to destroy the funhouse of mirrors that they have created for you. Learning from every aspect of everything around you is the only way to get any further than you need to get to. We can't even get into methodologies because you haven't let go of the human aspect of yourself. Because everything that I will teach you and bring to the light from that dark space requires you to be able to reflect as deep as I take you. To the ones that are on the wavelength, you understand everything that I'm saying. To the ones that are coming into the wavelength, it's resonating with you. But as I always say, you're the only one that has the key and the combination and the fingerprint code, wherever you locked up yourself, to get into that room to listen to where the gods dwell. That's all that is. Anything else is uncivilized, according to us. We're supposed to be uncivilized. We're not human. We're supposed to be savages. We're not fucking humans. We're not a part of this realm. We created the things that created this realm are the remnants of the energy that dispersed upon us. The things that keep this realm going is our same energy being poured into it. That burning house, you asking for the air conditioning in a burning house? How stupid do you sound? You asking for equal rights with motherfuckers that are beneath you? How stupid do you sound? You asking for somebody to understand you that doesn't understand themselves? That doesn't even want to accept their beginnings? It's a reflection of you not accepting your beginnings. It's a reflection of you not reflecting deep into yourself. That back and forth you have with yourself, but that's my friend, but that's my okay, and I've sacrificed more people in my life than I have associates at this point in time. Let that shit go. Let it go. And that fueled me to where I'm at now. And I feel better at this level than I did at that level. So what does that mean? It means that I'm in the divine alignment. My lower self required me to be so enduring with humanity. That's what my lower self wanted me to be in tune with humanity, to look at people and have compassion and care about people's feelings and care about people's ideals, but never truly having compassion, because if I had compassion, I would tell them exactly what the fuck they need to know. That's what that boils down to. That's what that triangulates into. I can love you from afar. Somebody else over there might need you as their lesson, but I'm in a different book. I'm no longer in elementary school. I'm no longer in middle school. I'm no longer in the high school base of learning. I'm ending my college career and I'm in the finishing schools. So with the utmost confidence, when I say my names, many of my monikers, I can have confidence in everything that I say and everything that I do, because I move from that space of knowing. I move from that intuition space. I understand and am in understanding and constant flux of the understanding in the comfort of being in constant uncomfortable chaotic energy, because I am chaos. That's in the spiritual realm. So in the physical realm, that's why I can be everything that I need and I want to be. Once you get to that level, it all makes sense. Everything that needed to happen is happening for a reason. At a point in time, you stated the cause, and now here are the effects. First understanding the wave, and then understanding that, wait, I am the wave. Fuck that, I'm not the wave. I'm the energy that created the wave. You're the glitch in the matrix. You're the glitch in the matrix. You're the breaker of the curses. You're the true dark. You're the true light out of the darkness. These are the things that you are. That's what it means to love yourself. The validation of yourself. Those thought processes to you. Those are the things that make you what you are. So what are you waiting for? An invite to the sacrifice party? You waiting for somebody else to tell you about sacrifices and shit? To end it all? In order to be ready, you got to get ready. There is no Let me get ready. Okay, if you got to get ready, you'll never be ready. If you got to get on time, you'll never be on time. It's about aligning yourself with your higher self and learning. They're going to give you more and more reasons to fall short. They're going to give you more and more reasons to be something or other outside of yourself to fit in some way, shape, or form. That's their purpose. That's always been their purpose. Their purpose is to provide the distraction to you. As long as you're distracted, I can extract everything I need from you. But when you on point, you on focus, ain't shit stopping you. Ain't nothing on this planet gonna stop you. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. I can promise you. Nothing can stop you. You are your own greatest enemy, and you are your own greatest savior. Oh, that's kind of cool. You're your own greatest savior. In latter news, so at this point in time, what are you waiting for? You get to a certain level, you realize you're just simply the person pointing. You're just simply just planting the seeds. You're making yourself better every single day. Getting your home in order allows the example to be expounded upon. Not everybody's going to get to where we're going. Not everybody's going to come along just because they got the same skin tone as you. Doesn't mean they're going to be in the same zone. These are the thought processes that we have to put into our mindsets as we move forward in our day to day. You are the best for you. You are the greatest version for you. As you go to the next level, it's going to require a stronger version of you. That's why you go through what you go through while you're at that level. Burn it all down. Kill your humanity. Align yourself with things that will engage you into becoming better. That's the key. We're going to keep dropping this science. We're going to keep getting deeper. We're going to keep burning down these bridges. We're going to keep understanding these chains in order to shatter them so they cannot be put back onto you. "6 a.m. every Tuesday. We're going to have a brand new God thought. Part of the God Hour. Every Friday, we're going to have these lectures. Pretty soon, we're going to start moving around in different positions and different spaces. As always, I love you. We love us. Dare to step into that dark. Put in that shadow work. The only day that matters is today. The only way to win the day is to understand that night before. I love you. We love us. Until again, let's rise.